All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Roddy Bergeron, your cybersecurity technical fellow over at Sherweb. Today, I have Connor with me. We're going to be talking about addressing modern attack vectors. So, Connor, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell me what do you do, and we'll kick it off from there.
My name's Connor. Thanks for having me, Roddy.
Yeah,
I've known you for quite a bit. I am the CEO and co-founder of a company named Fin, which does phishing simulations, security awareness trainings, and like end user policy management for largely MSPs, but a lot of companies.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we got to warm you up with a test question, right? Like, and so far they've all been food related.
Okay.
So like yesterday, I made Tara from Imibot answer like do you season the crawfish when you're boiling crawfish? Do you season the water? Do you season the crawfish themselves? Right, like that's ongoing Cajun
Mhm.
debate. So, but your question today is like, what's the weirdest food combination that you like? Right?
Okay. I actually have this off the top of my head. Uh, you got to get Neapolitan ice cream, so the strawberry vanilla chocolate mix, and then extra flavor blasted goldfish,
The
and put
cheese
them
ones?
together. Yeah, the extra cheese, like the flavor blasted ones. Put them together. I promise it'll change your life.
Oh man, that is a doozy. What is like is it the salted sweet combination? Like what is it that does it for you?
I think it is like the dust on the extra on the flavor blasted goldfish is not only salty, but it is that cheesy taste. So like everyone knows of like pretzel sticks,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
but like I remember one day doing flavor blasted goldfish and like extra toasty Cheez-Its too work.
Oh yeah.
Promise, it is so good.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to try. I think I have some vanilla ice cream in the freezer, and
Yeah.
some and my kids tear up the extra toasty cheese it, so I have to try that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I might do a whole might be a whole blog post for us about like weird food combinations. But anyways, so Connor, like I invite you today, we're gonna talk a little bit about like phishing attacks, email attacks, whatever. And I figured since you help people change their change their reality around like around all the emails and phishing attacks they get, and you help them fix or at least know what phishing attacks look like. Let's talk a little bit about AI, right? So like AI has been driving a lot of phishing attacks. We see it always, right? Like back, 10 years ago when we were doing phishing education, it was like look for misspellings and look for people who may not be non-native speakers, et cetera, et cetera. But like that really doesn't fly today, right? Especially with AI. So like, how is AI driving all those attacks? What are you seeing out there? And let's start from there.
Sure. Yeah, those Nigerian prince scams, long lost relatives, while still out there and kicking and alive and well, and there's somebody falling for it. Unfortunately, that's not really what modern social engineering threats, modern phishing threats, really look like. Um, the real impact of AI has been twofold, and I'm not even going to talk about like how this has turned into higher quality phishes, although you can draw those conclusions. The real impact is one with the availability of AI tools and the cheapness of it. Like free trials for AI tools is enough for an enterprising teenager anywhere in the world with an internet connection to actually be able to speak better English than probably me or write it down at the very least. So these tools are so accessible that anyone who can invest $1 to steal four versus invest $1 to make two via legitimate means has that ability now. Like it's so far reaching. But then the real second impact of AI is if you're familiar with the term, I know that you are, Robbie, but the audience here, OSINT, like open source intelligence, it's gathering information on the target that you would like to attack. That process is now just a well crafted prompt to the right kind of AI. Uh, and even the right kind of AI doesn't matter. You could use ChatGPT, you could use Claude, you could use it like any kind of really publicly available model. And if your target is a public individual, kind of like me, kind of like you, Roddy, there's enough information where it's like, who is Roddy likely to work with? Scrape LinkedIn as well and try to put together an organizational chart. So this process of gathering open source intelligence and then being able to speak or write almost exactly perfect English, get rid of those M dashes though. Um, yeah, has I want to use the word democratized, but it doesn't sound right to use
Yeah.
that word. But it's really made this playing field that is incredibly unfair to I want to say like Western businesses because we have a lot of resources, whether it's information access or money to steal. We have a lot of it compared to the rest of the world, and as a result, there are a lot of people who are gonna attempt to steal it. Now they can.
Yeah, if we look at like adoption rates of different technologies, right? Like AI has really taken off real quick. Like we look at like Chat GPTs, how quickly did they get to like was it 10 million users or something like that? It was in a matter of months when like most technology takes years sometimes. So, like adapting that to security sometimes is a slow process. So like what are things that you're seeing, I think from the vendor side, right? Like how are you helping and without giving away trade secrets, right? Because we don't want to know how the sausage gets made, but like what technologies are you seeing in the vendor side to help mitigate some of those problems?
I think this tug of war that's always existed between, you red team, blue team, attacker, defender, bad guys, good guys, will continue existing. I think as the quality of AI tools increases on the offensive side, they also increase on the defensive side, and will kind of be in the exact same spot we are, which is still what's called the defender's dilemma. So, the defender's dilemma for everyone here in the audience is the defender, the people that are protecting all of your software, your hardware, all of your assets, anything really. They need to be right 100% of the time, 24 hours a day, 365 and a quarter days a year. An attacker has to be right exactly once to get in, and then they need to be right several other times to really start to exfiltrate information. But that's the position that they're in. Some of the tools that I see doing really well. There's a lot of email security solutions that are starting to do really fancy stuff. There's a lot of post inbox scanning. So now I really think I was talking with Tom Lawrence about this the other day that the real change that has increased security is like zero trust. Like just because an email's in your inbox doesn't mean we should trust it, even if you have multiple layers of security. And then he told me something that I was like complaining to him about. It's like I don't think a lot of these problems can get solved by software. And I could go into a specific example about social engineering, but his statement was, Connor, how dare you tell me a process will solve my problems when I can just go buy more software? I was just like,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we touched on it. Again, I'm going to reference the conversation I had with Terry yesterday. We touched about like the human side of cybersecurity. We kind of neglected the fact that like we're very like a lot of us are tech focused. We're engineers. We look for the technical aspect of it, but like we pull the Verizon, their yearly incident report, right? And you look at it, it's still like it's phishing, it's credential stuffing, it's the same things we see every year with regards to like how can we, it goes around like human security. Like it's not, like yeah, there's a few 0 days out there that get popped, but like day to day, it's all like let's fish a help desk, let's fish an individual, and like you said, it's opportunistic. So if someone's having a bad day, they're busy, they're stressed, they have their focus on their, life, their home life, or they're just busy day at work and like something slips up or something slips by, right? Like it's very opportunistic. And you nailed it, right? Like technology can't always solve this. So as a person who would like to call like human awareness training, right? Like what are you seeing that's working best, right? Because I've seen some training platforms that are just Gorbo, right? Like it's there as a checkbox and it's great, but like it's the reinforcement, it's the style and the delivery. So let's get into some specifics on that. So like how do we build better humans, Connor? Like
The Neuralink. No, I'm kidding. This is actually a recurring topic. Obviously, I'm very interested in this topic. And so here are a couple of thoughts. The first is that most of the training that a lot of people have to do, they have to do it regardless of their desire, right? It's for compliance. It's to guarantee cyber insurance isn't going to look twice at them. It's for maintaining their SOC 2 Type 2 status or passing a 27K audit. So there's a lot that it's like, if an employee's, why do I have to do this? The leadership and the manager's perspective needs to be, well, this is really important for our business. Like we need to maintain, and maybe you're a DoD contractor or DoD adjacent. Well, we need to maintain our CMMC2 status and our audits coming up. And if we don't, then we lose all of our money. And then boom, you have no job. So it's like, what's the repercussion of an employee not doing training in that case? It's like, well, they might not have a job because they lose their business. That being said, there are a lot of things that you can do for the employee to make that training experience less undesirable. There's a really good friend of mine. His name is Jason Haynick. He built and sold a security awareness training company to Arctic Wolf. And he made the statement one time. He said, if employees leave their awareness training experience and say, that wasn't the worst thing I did this week, top tier experience. That's kind of where we are. So a couple of things you can do. Give the users options on when they can take it. So if you send them an email, it's like, hey, you have a new training. Give them the ability to say, I want to take this now. I want to take this in one day. I want to take this tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then schedule it on their calendar for them. A lot of it is just making sure that they have the time, the availability. The second thing that you can do is schedule shorter increments of training more often. Don't go into what I call the TikTokization of awareness. You don't need to do 6 seconds clips every hour, I promise. But there is some healthy balance that kind of what we've been able to strike over here at Fin is between once and twice a month, 5 minutes each time is like a perfect amount. And then the third thing that we've really done that we've seen have a huge positive impact on employees is you can't just be like a teacher that wraps their knuckles with a meter stick every time they screw up, right? You don't want to punish them and treat them like children, even if they deserve it. It's still not the pragmatic thing to do. And so what you really need to do, and what we've done is, let's say they fail a phishing simulation exercise, right? They get phished. Don't train them about that phish a day later, 15 minutes later. Don't give them a video that they've already seen 100 times. Teach them exactly what they missed, why they missed it, how they couldn't have missed it, and what to do about it. And if they exit out of that specific training, so it's like if Roddy Bergeron gets phished with a Kohl's Cash giveaway, because I know, Roddy,
you're speaking my language, man. Like, where do I sign up?
Exactly. Oh, Microsoft's involved in this? Log in. Yeah. If Roddy Bergeron gets phished by a Kohl's Cash giveaway, immediately Roddy needs to know, oh, this was a scam. How could Roddy have identified this was a scam? Well, even though it looks perfect, you should have noticed the email wasn't from Kohls.com, or the SPF DMARC or DKIM didn't pass, although your email security tools should catch that. So there's also a lot. I think a lot of it is changing the defender's mindset as well. It's like, people will not always catch these things, and neither will the attackers. By the way, there's a lot of I forget who ran it. Phishing simulation exercises to security experts and non-technologically inclined folks, like people who just had normal jobs, like sales, finance, or accounting, or something like that. The technical folks were more vulnerable to phishing exercises, largely as a result of what they thought was their ego.
Yeah, overconfidence.
Yeah. And so I bring that up as a point to say, this is a problem for everyone. This is not just a problem for this caricature that we've made in our heads of the stupid person on the other end of a keyboard. Like, air exists between keyboard and share as a thing, largely because of the IT world. And that caricature is often easily applied to us as well. Like Ray Rossini, another friend of ours. I fished him all the time. Like it wasn't, it's like raising like 40 million different Slack and Discord channels. So what do? Just hammer him with Slack and Discord invites that look real enough. It's like, went on LinkedIn, Roddy's inviting you to a new Slack, right? He's like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Let me get in there. And that's just exactly what it is. And I'll bring it back to AI. With AI being able to make that information easily accessible with zero financial cost. Like, I'll phrase it this way for the audience. What 10 years ago took the resources and the focus of nation states now is available for $5 a month to an enterprising teenager with an internet connection on an iPhone. Like, it's just insane, the quality difference that they have access to, that everyone has access to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it's the security world's evolving faster than, like, even I think sometimes I can even catch up with, right? Like, every day I sit down and I read like a slew of articles every morning just to be like, what's out there, what's going on, like what techniques are going on. And it's a I don't know how somebody even keeps up with everything, like a general IT specialist, right? Like, how do you keep up with every single thing that's going on? And it kind of segues into like the last question, because we're getting close to 15 minutes here. I'm going to try and keep it under 20. So So let's take it back to managed service providers. So like they're trying to have these conversations with their clients or potential clients about why, why are we still talking about email security? Why are we still talking about like why they need training, et cetera? So like what's some tactics, techniques, and procedures and TTPs they could use to help I guess their clients understand why it's important, right? Like what's some tips for you there?
Um, the first tip I'll give it, and one that I've seen a lot of sales conversations get self-sabotaged, is never focus on the technology, always focus on the outcome. So let's say you are selling call it your social engineering security package. Like, we are going to protect you from this. It includes awareness training. It includes email security. Maybe it includes like ITDR and business email compromise detection and all that stuff. You're not selling the various tools that you're leveraging. You're saying, hey, we're going to educate your folks on recent threats. By the way, here's an article of a small company just like yours that got hacked through deepfakes and audio fakes. This is the kind of attack that is going to show up on your doorstep one day, and we need to be prepared when it's there. And so the first thing I would say is never focus on the technology, always focus on the outcome. And if you can tie that to how your customer makes money, even better. Even better. So if you're working with like an accounting shop, it's like, how do you guys make money? It's like you make money by customers trusting you with their financial information to file their taxes correctly and also help them organize their business expenses. It's like, great. What does that require? A ton of trust, a ton of organization. And if at any point that trust is broken and your reputation is harmed, your business might go on.
Yeah. Yep.
The second thing that I would give them, you can leverage a lot. I see a lot of sales conversations turn into, well, why should I trust the other person? So like if an MSP is trying to sell services, the client's like, why the hell should I trust this guy? And you'll start to lean on, maybe you have a CISSP and you have all these other acronyms and there are 14 different letters after your name. A lot of people don't care about that, especially small business owners. They really don't. What they want is to feel that they trust you and feel that they'll be protected. So what I always say is you should always try to appeal to a different authority that is not yourself. And what I mean by that, if you talk about the CIS controls, I use the CIS controls because nobody likes to go through the sub controls of the NIST-CSF and how they apply to all the various different 800-171 and 853. So you just use the CIS controls, the Center for Internet Security. You can say, well, we've created a security program that we're going to offer you, and we are going to satisfy all these controls. And by the way, this was, backed by the government. This government I don't even think it's a government organization. CIS is like the end all be all, the people who are the experts that have created this framework that we could actually walk through together. It's written in plain English. And if we accomplish all of these points, we're a third of the way. I was just listening to a buddy of mine, Matt Lee, talk about this. If you're just implementation group 1, which is like 1/3 of the controls recommended, so it's like 53 different things, you will be able to fend off like 78% of modern attacks. It's like, now what happens in IG2? I actually don't know what the next percentage is, but it's like blew my mind. Is like, oh, it's like you shouldn't be explaining this to customers through the lens of, well, we're going to give you your RMM and we're going to have endpoint protection. And then boom, we're going to throw in 20 other acronyms of tools and things that we're going to do for you. It's like, hey, look at this really readable, very, very popular, very successful security framework. We're going to make sure that you fend off north of 85% of attacks on day one. That's what we're going to do. Here's the cost. I don't know, get into pricing at some other point, but that's what I would recommend. It's like appeal to an authority that's not yourself. Nobody cares about the acronyms after your name a lot of times, especially small business owners. And 2 is don't like, or I guess the first one was don't talk technical.
Yeah, we touched on that in our discussion yesterday. It was like I had a reality check because we did a lot of legal, right? So we worked with a lot of attorneys in our QBR process. We were going through and we were talking about like, oh, we patched your FortiGate or something, as part of our. They were like, I remember one of the attorneys was like, look, just stop talking nerd to me. Like, I don't care. I was like, man, like it was like a harsh reality check, and I was like so upset that like you didn't care about this tech stuff. And like I got back to my office and I was like, well, maybe it's me, right? Like maybe it is me. Maybe I'm just not talking in a way that they understand or they care about. So we went back to the drawing board and like revamped our whole QBR process. And we spent 5 minutes talking about what we did, and we were like let's talk about the problems you're having now. And we spent the rest of the time talking about
Yeah.
what they were looking forward to. Like we went from like scraping by trying to get like QBRs out the door to like them booking like
Yeah.
a recurrence and everything. We're like, man, like this actually works when you stop talking about yourself.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
not patching you're not patching FortiGate. You're making sure that their firewalls aren't going to be Swiss cheese and going to be updated with the latest threats that this giant multinational company is updating, and then telling us to update for you.
yeah, we're ensuring your security boundaries are hardened against modern threats. you got to church it up a little bit. But anyway,
Sure.
all right, we're getting close to time. Connor, last parting thoughts, and then I got one last question for you.
Last parting thoughts. I will reiterate the best advice I got from Tom Lawrence this past week, which was, how dare you try to sell me a process that will solve all my problems when I can buy more software? So I think, one, if you're listening to this and you're contemplating buying more software, ask yourself a very simple question. If I followed a standard operating procedure and I regularly enforced that with my clients and with my company, would that solve my problems? And if the answer is yes, that is free. It's free, except for the time invested in making sure that you're running your business correctly, which you should be doing anyway. So that's what I would say. If a process can solve your problems, implement the process. Don't change your software.
All right, and then the last question is the question I asked every single guest before we wrapped up. If you had one birthday wish, all right, what would you wish would happen in the space? Either take away, give, etc.
In this space?
Yeah, in the MSP space.
I'll phrase it like this. I have met so many successful MSP owners and MSP operators that don't believe that they are successful because there is a cadre of MSP influencers that tell them they're not. I'll give you a specific example. I'm not going to name them. Guys like my MSP has existed for 20 years and it's always kicked off $500,000 a year in profit above expenses. It's like, holy shit, dude, that's great. Yeah, well, this and that, and like my EBITDA needs to be 24%, and it's only 20. I'm like, do you listen to yourself, man? Like, do you like boating? He's like, yeah, I love boating. I say, do you buy a new boat every year? He's like, yeah, when the old one gets, when it gets old enough to clean, I'll pretty much start looking. I was like, that is success. I was like, are you living the life you want? He goes, yeah, pretty much. I was like, who cares? What's going on, pal? So I would say comparison is a thief of joy. It's another way of saying that. It's very popular. I didn't make that up, so don't quote it. Don't give me that quote. It's
already on it. Already wrote it down.
Yeah. Editors, get this in. That's what I would say. If I could change one space, it would be a lot of MSP owners, a lot of MSP operators are so hard on themselves for no reason. They've built incredibly successful businesses that are allowing them to live the lifestyle they want. And that is the definition of success. It is not that you have one more zero at the end of your revenue or 5 more points in your EBITDA. If you want to grow, absolutely, those are perfect. If you want to be at the front edge and if you want to be growing every year, you have to focus like that. But I would say, if your business is letting you live the lifestyle you want, like you've already reached the pinnacle of success in my mind. So stop feeling so bad about yourself.
You heard it first here, guys. Connor says EBITDA doesn't matter.
I'm gonna get so much hate mail.
Yeah, no, yeah, I totally get it. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Connor, thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Good conversations, right? If anybody needs to reach out to you or find you, how can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, CONNOR-SWALM. It's just by name. Or dude, send me an email, Connor, CONNOR @finsecurity.com. And I read all my emails. So if I ignore you, it means it was a bad email.
And he clicks on all the links.
Yeah, I click on everything.
All right, Connor. Thank you so much, man. You have a good one.
Thank you, Rodney, for having me. It was a blast.
All right, bye.